Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another, I guess, Throwback Thursday when I used to customize Hot Wheels post video. This is going to be the last one. So this is the last one. We're going to go through the rest of these Hot Wheels customs and stuff that I have still in my possession, stuff that I've made. We're starting with this Lamborghini Countach right here. One of my favorite castings of all time. I dig it. It's not the best Lamborghini Countach representation in 1/64 scale, but it's not bad either. It's an older Hot Wheels. And you can see I painted this thing like a metallic red. I think it looks pretty good. Wheel choice is pretty awesome. And I painted the base black. Did some detailing back there. That turned out okay. I've said it in every episode. The detailing of these things, the little hand-painted details, are really what is the challenging part of doing these customs. I mean, they're fun. Everything's a little bit challenging. I mean, getting a decent paint job, especially if you're just doing it with spray cans, that can be difficult. Eventually I want to get an airbrush. I want to start doing that stuff. I think it would be fun. There's that Countach. So I have a couple of Countaches. Here's another one. I think turned out pretty cool. In blue. Much better job detailing the back of this one. That looks pretty decent. This one has some weird bright green base, which matches the wheels pretty good. Tire's pretty good. It looks pretty good. This one, see the windscreens on these are scratched up because these are kind of like recovered ones. These were ones that were played with and stuff like that. I've mentioned it in one of the last episodes. I enjoyed doing that, taking these things and trying to breathe new life into them. I always thought that was kind of fun. So this one doesn't have much detail other than the back, but the back looks pretty good. And it looks decent. Let's see here. Here's another one, yet another one. This one is in this metal cast orange color again. Windshield's pretty scratched up. Base is painted chrome. I think I had to use this screw because I screwed up something on the post and then I had to modify it so it would take that screw. Otherwise it wouldn't hold together. Again, detailed the back. Looks okay. There's a little chip in the paint right here. It's alright. It's not too amazing. It's not too bad. I think they look pretty good, all these Countaches. And then I did this one. This one is basically one of those where I can't afford the real car, so I'm going to try to kind of make a version of it. It's not quite an accurate version, but it's pretty close. This is from the Revealers, like, mail-in car. You had to get, like, the golden ticket out of a Revealers package. If you don't know what Hot Wheels Revealers are, just Google them. But in there they had like a token. I think it was a token. And I don't know, I think you had to get a gold token or something like that. If you got the gold token, you got mailed this car. Now this car, there was only I think 100 of them actually made. And they're all gold. And I think the original ones, I don't think they're really gold plated, but they're a chrome gold paint job. And I tried to do that here. It since has oxidized. It used to be a little bit brighter gold, but this is just one of those. Likely I'm never going to have the real thing, so I went ahead and tried to kind of make one myself. I think I screwed up the front post on this one too because this screw is actually sticking out of there. See that? So gold ultra Hot Wheels, and it's pretty cool. So there is that. So those are 4 Countaches. Here's one, a little mini custom that I did back in the day. It turned out okay. Just kind of playing around with some decals that I made. Actually made those decals. And not one of my best jobs. I think it was somewhat early in customizing. I think the body still pops off of this one if I want it. No, obviously it doesn't. Wait, yeah, it does, because I think those screws actually go into plastic. So yeah, I think the body pops off of this one. If I really wanted to do this one out, I should have done the interior. I don't think I did anything with it. No, I really didn't. Just sloppy painted black right there. Yeah, it's not too terrible. There's that one. Then this one was another one I just kind of did for fun. This is when I was trying out the flame mask thing. This one I detailed the interior somewhat. My hand-painted details on this one aren't too bad. It's got plastic wheels. Probably could have used some real riders. Not too bad. See, I think this one and this one, yeah, this one and this one were both in Friday Night Likes custom competition when they used to do that on Instagram. Mr. Sensitivity used to do it. I don't think he's done that in a long, long time, but used to do that. That was one that was entered. This was one that was entered. This one I thought was really cool. I kind of screwed up the paint job to it late in the game. I couldn't really fix it or anything, so that's why it's got like a fingerprint right there. It's like dirty right here because I was going to like detail out the gaps of the doors, and then I decided not to because it looked bad, and then I tried to cover it up with some other yellow paint. And anyway, it was a kind of an experimental thing. This silver is, or chrome is foil. This engine part is from an M2, but this is a pretty cool Datsun 240Z that is made to look like I guess a drag racing version. It's got big fat tires in the back. I mean, it turned out okay. It's a little sloppy. It colored outside the lines a little bit on it. But I mean, the thing rolls and it's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool adaptation of this casting where it's nice and dropped in the back. A little bit, so that wheel is nice and tucked underneath there. I think I had to cut up part of the interior to get that to happen. And, I don't know, it looks alright. I don't remember where I got the spoiler from. The spoiler is kind of attached in a cool way, too. I think I stabbed, like, needles into it to make, like, a metal post inside of here and then stabbed that into the body. Glued it all up, and I think it actually turned out pretty good. So anyway, that's kind of a cool little concept one. It'd be cool to kind of revisit a custom like this, do something like this again, maybe get the paint job a little bit better. But pretty neat. Let's see, sticking with the Friday Night Likes stuff, maybe I should go to this one. I believe this one was my first custom competition entry. And it's a first for a lot of things. First custom super van I did. First time I made this decal for it. I did this paint job that was a fade paint job. That looks pretty good. But it's also the first custom I ever added LED lights to. So look at that guy. So it's got working headlights. This is before I purchased battery holders and stuff, and this is just a switch I had around the house, or I had I used to be really into electronics tinkering, stuff like that. So it's a switch that I had, and then the battery compartment, how I built this little battery compartment in here is kind of crazy. I'm not going to take it apart because it's kind of fragile, but as the first time attempting the LED lights, I think this thing turned out pretty cool, and this is just a fun one to hang on to for me. So I think it's awesome. It turned out really cool. So there's that one. I have one more super van with lights. That would be this one here. So flame mask again. Same flame mask as this one. And this one also has LED lights. This one I got experimental with how I was creating the lights. Which, by the way, these are all body swappable. I could take this body and take it off. I think I could for this one, yeah. I could take this body off and I could actually put it on the snake fan one if I wanted to. But the lights on this turned out awful. What I was trying to do with this was create sort of a lens with hot glue. and it was like really too bright white, and then I tried to yellow it, so it turned out like this weird green color. Anyway, not my best work in regards to that. The van itself looks pretty cool, I think. The color of it, the red flame, the painted red dots in the center of the wheels. You know, I think it looks pretty cool in that regard. I painted the rims too. I painted them black. I mean, other than the front of it, it looks pretty good. It's just those lights didn't quite turn out the way I wanted them to, and that's okay. That's what you do. That's what's fun about it. It's fun to kind of play with that kind of stuff. Let's see here. So sticking with the Friday Night Lights theme, this is one of my favorite customs that I ever created. It is a Hot Wheels, a VW Bug. What is that motor from? I don't remember what that motor's from. I know these guys are from that roller coaster casting. So I threw them in there. This is one of the funnest castings ever built. So I actually did cut the roof off of a regular VW Beetle. Fit the motor in there. Painted it blue with a little bit of sparkle. This was the 34th custom I ever did. Detailed the bottom out a little bit too, huh? Anyway, this thing is just kind of goofy, right? But I think it's kind of neat. This is definitely a fun one. I thought this was going to perform a lot better than it did when I submitted it, but it didn't. But I just thought it was really cool. I remember having fun building this one. This is definitely one of my favorites, for sure. So there's that one. Sticking with Volkswagen for a while. This was just a quick one. Championdjk. This kind of transparent yellow paint with NASCAR style wheels. I robbed the wheels off it, I think, off of this casting for something else, and then I went ahead and decided, I should probably paint this car up. So I just painted it. Didn't really know what to do with it. Just kind of detailed it a little bit and threw some wheels on her. I think it actually looks pretty good the way it is, so not too bad. This one's a little goofy. This one was just fun. Put some black wall wheels on a Honda. Two big black wall wheels. Just playing around with some weird paint. Did some detailing on it. Turned out a little low res, but doesn't look terrible. Not the greatest thing ever, but not too bad. Plastic wheels, just kind of a goofy one. And then this one I was proud of. I thought this one turned out really good. This was the Viper. Used that snake decal again. Because when I printed the snake decal, I basically had to print a full page of these because I didn't have anything else. So I used those decals on quite a few things. But I thought this one looked really cool. Painted the rims on it. Yeah, this one I thought turned out really awesome. I was happy with this one. Paint turned out really good. So, very, very cool. Again, you're limited with rattle cans. There's only a few transparent colors you can get to kind of get a candy effect. And I would do that. I would paint gold first, and then I would paint the translucent metal cast red over the top or whatever color. And sometimes I would do silver underneath and then paint it over and just kind of try to play around with that and try to get different effects and just different stuff. So, I don't know. I think that turned out pretty awesome, actually. That's one of my favorites. All right, and then let's see here. I got 3 more to show you. So, 4 more to show you. I forgot about this one. Here's one I think turned out cool. It's the 63 Custom Chev. and I went ahead and put Matchbox wheels on it. And I guess I lifted it. The only reason why I lifted it is because I had to. I had to lift it to get the lights to work. Oh, I think we're out of battery power. Barely enough to drive those LEDs. They're going to flicker. But yeah, it's got headlights. Needs a new battery. Turned out okay. I think it looks pretty good. Again, fun to do. And again, you know, the details might not be the greatest paint job ever. But what can you do? You know, I think it looks all right. All right. Then this one here is one of the ones I'm also most proud of. This is a cool combi that I made for a Halloween competition for PJ Foreman's YouTube channel. I really thought I was going to win, and I didn't win, but I got close to winning. It sort of rolls. The front tire sticks a little bit. That's actually a chrome foil back there for the motor. I shaved off the VW logo on any of the contouring, made it a flat surface, and then went ahead and cut a jack-o'-lantern face in there. And yes, let's see if it works. Oh, I think the battery's dead. But as you can see, it's got one of those LEDs in it that flicker. This is part of those candle, like those little battery-operated candles. Maybe what I should do real quick, just to see if you can see it. Let's try it. I'm going to turn off the lights in here. Yeah, there you go. So, here's my little jack-o'-lantern. Cool combi. And again, I think the battery is about to die in it, so these have been neglected for a while. But yeah, pretty cool, huh? Turn the lights back on. And there you have it. Alright, so there's that. And then lastly, I've got number 2 and number 3. I actually don't have my first custom ever. I gave it away to Lamar Fashion, but this, just goofy, right? Number 3. So when I was first just learning how to wheel swap, I pulled the wheels out of this, out of some car, threw them in this one. The only reason why I took them from this one is because I used the interior from this car, and I think maybe even the windshield too. No, just the interior from it, I think. And I put it in my first custom ever, which looked exactly like this car. This is like a duplicate of my first custom ever. Is this right here. This is number 2. Painted the base black. Of course, left the pipes yellow. These wheels came off of the SpongeBob Highway Hauler. Did a little bit of detailing on the interior. And I think, yeah, so this one was a blue interior. This blue interior actually came from my first custom ever, which I switched it to a black interior, and I don't think I painted any details in it. I think that's how that went down. But yeah, you know, just basic. Didn't have to paint the car. Just basically wheel swapped it. Tried to paint a little bit of detail on it, which turned out, you know, as good as they do. And that's it. So that's my first custom. Well, essentially my first custom. It's exactly, pretty much exactly a repeat of my first custom, which was exactly like this. I just gave it away. And this one I made at the same time, basically. Just tried it again, because I had enough wheels to do it with. That is it, guys. So that is pretty much all. Out of this episode, I think my favorite is actually still this Beetle. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I may do one more episode where I feature customs that I have that were given to me from other people. That might be a cool one. Let me know if you guys want to see that. There's a couple of those that are really cool. So, but let me know what you guys thought about this little Hot Wheels customizing mini series. Hopefully you enjoyed. Again, thank you guys very much for watching. Have yourself a good day.